Had multiple women express in sessions when I asked them, do you have a history of sexual abuse? A moment, an experience. 95% plus. That answer is, of course. Women express to me decades of sexual abuse. And I've had women express to me that even as a child, when the sexual abuse was happening, they were deathly afraid, confused, they didn't understand the moment. They had never had a sexual experience before, but there was a certain part of that pleasure principle that was activated and they enjoyed it sexually, enjoyed it physically. I'm gonna let that breathe for a second. You know the damage that can do to an individual, mind fuck that is, no pun intended? And do you understand that in most of these situations, these ages normally doesn't feel safe enough to say anything to somebody, feel like they'll be blamed, they won't be believed. In areas that black and brown people is from, you also got to factor in. If I tell my brother or my uncle or my father, he gonna go kill this nigga, and I got somebody's murder on my conscience. I done heard all type of shit. And in cases where they do, a lot of times they not believed, they're blamed. Nothing is done about it. So they got to compartmentalize this shit in ways that they're not conscious of. Go through teenage years, they go through college, and then they adults. They in they flow and they rhythm sexually, and now they experiencing different partners, and they starting to figure out what it is they think they like, not knowing sexually a lot of this shit that they feel like they prefer. This is just my style, this is my sexuality and how it expresses. A lot of that shit is still a derivative of the abuse that they've experienced that they don't even remember. So many different women, when I do ask them that question, they'll say no initially, but then the question sparks something in them. Like, Doc, you know what? I actually forgot about this, or I don't even know if this was an actual memory or actual experience. I don't know if this is some shit my subconscious mind dreamed up. They can't even tell if it's a valid experience within themselves. Their mind goes to such great lengths to push this into a space in the back recesses of their subconscious so they can still function as a being and as an individual. Niggas is not bringing this type of shit up as they courting a woman.
Somebody put their mixtape.
He tried to promote his music.
His mixtape is in the back of the...
I don't care what he has to say.
I mean, but sexually abused children do have to grow up, and they be growing up still in the same household as their abusers sometimes. And the person never has to, pay for what they did to the child because, again, like, it's a fear thing. Like, what's going to happen if I tell on this person? Or sometimes if the person is young enough, they don't even understand how wrong it is. So, some people become not attached to their abusers, but they become like, especially if it's a family member or somebody you care about, you don't necessarily want them to get hurt or go to jail. You might need them. They might be a parent. Like, who knows what the situation is. And then you just try to live with it. You don't tell people. So, I mean, I don't know. When is the right time to tell when... When you get abused, you tell right away, like.
Yeah.
And if you don't tell right away, does that mean you now don't have the right to express it at any other time?
We got to break down those questions one by one.
Okay.
Because that was a lot of questions. So my thing is, what if the abuser was abused themselves? So is the abuser still held accountable for the abuse?
Yes.
Okay, so if he or she is, then just say, what if Puff was abused? So it's just learned behavior. Mm-hmm. So would you have more compassion for him if that was the case?
But at some point, you have to know what's right and wrong.
And go for it.
No, you go for it. I don't want to say it. Go ahead.
If that's the case, then who's right or wrong? I know abuse is wrong all across the board. Mm-hmm. Got that. But if that was the case, then why are we just holding one person to that and not the other person?
That's why I'm saying, when do you tell? Because well, I don't even know where to begin.
I think what he's saying, I believe
it is
what he's saying.
He didn't tell on his abuser. She didn't tell on her abuser.
But they both knew what they shouldn't have been doing, but continued to do so consciously, willingly. So if we're going to say that the abuser who was abused is still wrong, the person who stays after they're being abused is still in the wrong as well.
Well, I see it as one abuser got away. The first abuser is the person that got away and was able to abuse the first individual. So now when do we stop the cycle of this? Even if I was wrong for being a participant, at least somebody has to stop the cycle. So
I think, and I thought this is where you were going. It's not about her. I'm sorry, and I guess are we speaking like
Cassie and
Cassie?
Pity. I was referencing.
Regardless of how or of what you experienced as a kid, being subject to abuse, at what point are you held responsible, right? And so we're saying just because Diddy, and from all accounts, it seems like he was abused.
It was said
I think
somewhere.
he actually said it.
Yeah, it was said somewhere. That's why I brought it up. So we'll just say allegedly.
Okay.
What he did to other men was also done to him.
That's what I did hear. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't wait to
Something like that. Yeah.
Damn, what was I saying?
At what point it can
Yeah, okay, yeah. So it's like, okay, yeah, that was his experience. He was abused, and then he became an abuser. Not only abused, this nigga like throwing punches, karate chops, all of that.
Bombs.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's multiple types of abuse. Physical abuse, financial abuse, whatever, sexual abuse, so on and so forth. But then you have Cassie, who also became a willing participant, who was also calling on the gentleman to be a part of the freak-offs. She was setting up, what time to meet and do this and do that for the freak-offs. So is it at what point are we going to say that she also has to be accountable for the part that she played?
I think that's very true. But I also think that...
And make sure you show my whole thing
I think that...
when I explain this.
The woman that you put in the group chat, she broke it down about the abuse. The psychologist, when she was saying how abuse victims.
They perpetuate.
Yeah, they perpetuate. So sorry.
And but another thing though, like Cassie was...
We wish we had
up,
some.
Like Diddy picked her up at a young age.
It's making its way. It's making its way.
Not after.
Oh, literally, Mike, should we take a break?
Literally, I looked at the counter and I was like, damn,
she was
no.
locking the bag up.
Because I was getting talk breath. You know, when you start chatting too
I
much.
love these air candies.
What flavor did you get?
So healthy.
Strawberry.
Rome, you was here whole
Did you get
time.
up
You
and
ain't
get
take
those?
none?
I was just saying, that's why I think sometimes we say people shouldn't date too far away from like their, like out of their age group, because
Bro, they finna
now
jump
she's
on you
still
in
learning a
comments.
behavior. I mean, hey, like it is what it is. Even the situation with old dude that just got money taken. I mean, he's in his lawsuit because of sleeping with a young girl. It's like,
Shannon Sharp.
yeah, Shannon Sharp. It's like,
Still.
You had
It's
that
like-
hat on before.
that's a part of it.
He had a hat like that.
But that's a part of the issue though.
in the
Of this.
nah, with the olive green joint when he was outside with the little ass
Yes,
fanny pack.
I remember that.
oh yeah, with his bow leg. But
Yeah,
like
the one leg. bro.
the one bow leg.
He's like pigeon toed.
Them jeggings was tight. Okay, so
Jeggings.
they was jeggings. So like you can mess with a person who's not mentally fully developed. Like those are the easiest people to target. Someone who you can get them to become what she became by now. She basically is doing the work for you because it was a learned thing. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what he said. He said, at what point can she even identify?
What she likes for herself.
No. Where that was unlocked inside of her.
Yeah.
That was like,
And then do we start paying attention to people who were sexually abused? Because now we got Kanye West saying he was sucking his cousin's D, or he was getting his D
Really?
sucked by
He
his
wasn't
cousin.
he wasn't sexually abused
He
though.
was the
'cause he was
Okay,
the one
so
that was
who
doing
abused
it.
you?
He was sucking dick till he was 14.
So who abused Kanye?
That's what he
You hear
said.
that?
And now do we trust him around other individuals?
His own
Does he
kids.
need to be on the watch list? Because now it's like if people are not wanting to, you didn't tell on your abuser, but now somebody's not telling on you. So in
My
my
thing-
eyes, it's like,
The only way the only way I could see this whole situation being reasonable for Cassie is if, and I hope this isn't the case because I don't wish more abuse on anybody, but is if she was abused at a younger age and also
Like like in her family or something?
Yeah, somebody and
Or
like,
anyone.
close to her. And she never spoke up about it then, or if she even did speak up about it and nobody believed her, that would support the case for what she's going through right now, because either she's repeating an old behavior or she's already tried this at a younger age and it worked against her. But because there is no direct correlation for her actions, and now she's 19 years old when she starts it, but the abuse probably came in, I would say, sometime afterwards, because initially she was game for it. That's why I'm like, it's too late for that card. Me personally.
No, well, if the abuse came later,
Yeah, make its way back around.
Like
no,
this.
hell no.
like this, pass it back here.
Not snack time.
Not little kids.
Not snack at the table.
I would have already had my fix before, but we had a delay.
Girl, you ain't had to take 12 of them.
Yes, she did.
Always.
She's Louise.
First of all, these are bigger than usual, so
Oh my goodness, we ain't even got nothing left.
they're going.
Is there a possibility that the jury could be hung? That's what I think that's going to happen, because was it 2 women and 10 men?
Did they do that?
No. Is it? Let's see.
It was something like super disproportionate.
I think I saw that too.
And so I think
That's scary.
They will do anything. That's the thing about
That's
about
actually really
court
scary,
cases.
and especially the way men have been talking about Cassie during this.
well, not even saying it doesn't even have to be the men though, because it really depends on what jurors were selected. And is it like each side could choose their own jurors, right? They get 6 and they get 6. Is that true?
Ironically, I did my law review article on jury selection and Bastion challenges. Is it Bastion? I think it's Bastion challenges. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But I'm looking up the composition of the jury right now.
Listen, there's ways around everything. That's just how I don't know.
But I think
I feel as though
sorry.
no, I just feel like people believe in these systems a little bit too much. I don't think they're as strict. Like there are laws, there are rules, but let's be honest, like people are definitely getting paid off. The jurors are the lawyers are doing whatever they can to maneuver where this case goes.
Oh well, no, I was talking about just the fact that we're confused
Good job.
Gotcha.
and we're on the
We are
outside.
confused and we are on the outside.
Imagine being on the inside, like listening to this, and just if one of those women were abused in any way, she may not be able to get out of her mind, hey, he's not guilty, or he's guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And if one of the men know any of the women, because like they said, the guy said he knows 95% women that have been abused.
One man did indicate that he had a female family member who had been a victim of sexual abuse.
And he's on the juror.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's what I'm saying. So I don't see how you can actually pick a side. I think there's so many emotions in this case that
I am in a funny place right now because I have a very close friend who was drugged and taken advantage of. And that person didn't step up and they cried to me and told me about it. But I'm like, dang, like now it's a few years that gone past and now it's just like, all right, we just don't listen to that person's music and we just like, I don't know. So now
She
it's
should have
like,
went and got her a check.
Yeah,
That's what Cassie did.
Why? Because I mean, I've never been a victim of abuse of really anything.
I don't know
but
why she didn't. I mean, I
What
don't
makes
know.
it like? What was her reasoning?
Because people don't be believing women a lot of times when it happens. I think that like she probably didn't think, hey, I ain't got money for this case. Or
But
I
I mean,
ain't got money
still-
for a lawyer.
But still, speaking up. I mean, even if
You know how many times I feel like I could have sued for any situation. I'm not talking about anything sexual.
well, we've seen that now that everybody just come out like now it's just a
It's
suit
like-
party.
It's a known thing that women tend, they're more likely than not, they're not going to come forward.
But if there was a case on that artist right now, and she came forward, it would definitely
Which is usually what
100%
happens.
open because this person has done multiple things. Like,
And
She better be
they're
the
more
first.
likely to believe her now since there's so many other victims.
But
there's
that's-
definitely victims.
Yeah, but are you, if you think about it? Because it's the question will always remain, why didn't you speak up sooner? And it doesn't mean that we know the exact answer, but
Especially
that will
drug.
always be a question.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
Was
just
she?
not thinking.
This is crazy. Just hear me
You're a
out.
little scary.
Was she planning on having sex with him?
No.
Initially.
No.
I'm trying to
It was
figure
the
out like
one
how could you
time
live
that
with
I
it?
wasn't out with my friend, and I was just like, dang, because I just am so careful of stuff like that. So it made me feel even more of a way because I'm like, dang, Stuff like that don't happen when I'm around because I don't care what I'm doing, what I'm on. I'm alert. Like, y'all, let's round it up. So I'll get in the truck.
Do you think
Like,
she could have lied to you about it?
Absolutely not.
And for what reason?
Absolutely not.
Because sometimes women don't want
Especially
to
for
be.
her not to tell. For what reason?
Yeah.
Would she
It
just
was
lied to her friend?
It was her and one of our friends that were
Wait,
left there. And the
Same
other person
person?
didn't do anything, or
Okay,
the
okay.
other person must have went to sleep. And
don't remember
she
it.
was drugged. And I mean,
What kind of drug was it? Did she black
We don't
out or what?
know.
No, I'm saying like the effect.
Drug was it?
Did she black out or was she like? Was she able to
blacked
see?
out. She woke up and she was like, "Oh, I've been
So you know the drugs?
done."
What?
Can you, if she
Identify?
tells you,
I'm trying to figure out how did she know that she was actually if she was like passed out
Because we have a vagina.
or she was like
Yes.
okay
What's the difference between
I want to know too.
like
And how did she
I want
get
him to
butt
be quiet,
naked?
y'all.
oh she woke up butt
She
naked.
woke up with her clothes off, but
Oh, yeah,
booty
yeah.
ball naked.
Yeah,
And-
yeah. How did she
yeah.
know she was drugged?
You can when your
So,
body doesn't feel
hey,
regular.
Well, I know you have a story about being drugged.
No, almost drugged.
Oh yeah, you're right.
That's why I
Almost
been
drugged.
drugged.
Almost drugged.
it is not a laughing
Almost drugged,
matter.
you're right.
I've been drugged at Miami.
Drinks.
I've been drugged at Club Live. Thank God
I've been
I got
drugged
out
one
of that.
time, and I'm convinced I was, but
I definitely was.
I made it home. I don't know how. Like shit just started getting real scary as I'm driving. I'm like, there's no way I'm getting drunker. By the time I got home, I was out.
Y'all, Cassie's husband
You're gonna hate this. Just
What?
close your ears.
is the definition of unconditional love.
You know, woman.
Okay. Let's keep listening.
And I love that for her.
You know how I know good men exist? Because Cassie's husband, Alex Fine,
Just
exists.
stop while we're ahead.
Because Sierra's husband, Russell Wilson, exists.
I'm starting to see a pattern, but let's keep
Oh,
Those men are
my
not the same.
goodness.
Cassie's
Yeah,
husband,
but what do they?
Alex.
They don't know anything about
That man ain't
Cassie's
nothing-
husband.
He ain't got nothing but God pumping through his veins.
Don't
Oh, y'all not gonna put my God in nothing. I might have to walk out.
All right, let's listen to two more.
He glistening, boy.
May all my girlies find a love that resembles the love that Alex Fine has for Cassie. Like, what a beautiful demonstration of what it means to be loved fully and fearlessly. And
I'm gonna give a little bit.
Can
of
we
my
skip
take
this?
From what we've seen so far, it seems like there are a lot of women who don't really care what the love of their life receives, and they only care about what they receive from the love of their life. Let's keep listening.
Thing y'all think of is, what's your husband gonna feel? It's because too much of y'all manhood is tied to y'all ego. A lot of y'all not ready
I've seen
to
her
help
on
your girl
TikTok
carry her
before.
baggage. Somebody go check on Alex.
Yeah.
Somebody go check on Alex.
Seriously.
Right now.
I mean, to have to
That's
sit
my
through
vibe.
this court
Mine
case
too.
and hear all of those horrible things
It's
that your wife had
terrible.
to endure.
Oh,
But the worst part is listening to somebody say they urinated in your wife's mouth.
Jesus.
this is what
And taught
happy
him how to
wife,
do
happy
it.
life culture looks like. This is what always listen to your wife looks like. This is what ignore my past and focus
Oh
on my
my
non-existent
gosh,
future
she's
looks
taking
like.
it too
Y'all,
far now.
This is what it is. Like, too many men's egos are tied to whatever the fuck she said. What else in life, other than men dating women, because women wouldn't even do it. What else in life do you not vet the past of whatever you're going into? If it's a business relationship, if it's buying a car, if it's anything else, what else do you just totally negate the past of the person or the item or the business or the
This
entity?
is God right
what
now.
else do you negate the past of
Telling me
for?
to
And what
vet
other
the
situation?
past.
I don't know who tricked so many women into believing that.
That's crazy.
And she was already married.
Hey, I said
And
that
she was
earlier.
And
I
she was
said that
married.
earlier.
And she was married.
Married.
I said that earlier. I said this
That-
is embarrassing.
He just want Alex, blink twice. We see you, but listen, secure the bag, bro.
That's all it's about.
Secure the bag,
I mean, he
Alex.
did get the
And-
bag.
I don't.
But he
that
got
bag.
kids with that. That's a
She's pregnant.
Guys.
The third one.
That's called palimony.
I
Pay
that
me.
hurts.
so
my
I was actually talking to. They were talking about this in the barbershop today.
Yo,
And,
I forgot. And it's so funny.
and when I say they, it was like
I need to get a haircut.
me and my barber. And
Us.
They had the news footage on playing.
what other people, it was like one more guy listening, and I think the other two guys, they may not even speak English or understand English. But anyway, and they're Haitian too.
I was about to say, ooh, you go to the Hispanics.
You want it?
No.
No. They were Haitians.
Haitians.
You gave him candy.
I just think that it was my hope that she had prepared her husband as much as possible
Of course.
before going into that courtroom. But my barber seems to think that there's no way possible that she was able to recall the details of all the shit that they did and relay that to her husband in the most salacious way possible that is being relayed, in the courtroom. And at first I was like, man, there's no way she just let him walk in today. He was like, it doesn't matter if she told him stuff. There's no way that what she told him could prepare him for what he was going to hear.
Yeah.
Allegedly, he was part of the freak off.
So he knows.
I never heard that.
So maybe, I don't know. This is what the streets of New York are saying. And when I say the streets of New York,
talking about White Plains.
I mean the barbershop. When I say the barbershop, I mean me and my barber.
You need to put that on a shirt.
I got it.
The streets was talking.
I understand.
no,
I understand it now.
this party is this really, but barbers be knowing all kind of shit.
Because they low-key therapists.
Anytime y'all hear her say that shit, please don't take it for
The
true.
barbershop.
Do not take it as fact.
No, y'all know. I mean, it just happened to be in the middle of the day. I had to get a last minute haircut, but y'all know, it be tons of people going in the barbershop. So
6 degrees of separation.
this particular instance, it was just me and the barber, but usually,
You got a good
It's
price.
the streets.
Well, it's on the street. Hey.
but anyway, so I really hope that he was prepared as best as possible.
Maybe that's how they met.
Walking-
during a freak off.
That's what the streets was saying.
Yo, stop.
I mean, some people just don't care. This YouTube.
Karen.
No, it's not me. I don't know these people.
Aaron started rumors.
I don't know these people. Shit.
I mean, the streets have been right because when you think about all the things the streets have been saying over the years, everything has come to light. I mean, when
The
they
real
talked about
streets.
Jada and Will, when they talked about Diddy and these parties, when they talk about everything, the streets be right. Because there's always somebody that's in these insider parties that's going to bring back the truth. And then somebody's going to be like, I heard. And then we always end up realizing that the streets be really getting the real truth. It may be finessed a little bit, but for the most
didn't come
part,
from me.
sometimes it's worse than what we get from the street.
It's always worse.
This is
But I think
worse for me.
Always worse.
I think Alex definitely probably met her at a freak off or something. Like knew her from the industry.
Definitely at the freak off.
Is he a famous?
No. He probably works at 24-Hour Fitness.
Let me tell you something too. Let me tell you something too.
Maybe now.
I don't know what it is about. It's something about being a woman that got clout or something, or being a woman of a certain. I'm just being honest.
Dudes want to be around you.
They accept way more.
Yeah.
I swear. So when you're a woman that has fans or popularity, or you look a certain way, or you live a certain way, men throw all of that in the trash. I want a woman that's like this, like that, and they be mad thirsty, and they be in your face, and they will literally do whatever it takes to be up under you and to benefit from whatever you got going on. I promise you, this is the truth.
And
And
he
I've tried
got
to
to be
explain
her,
this
like,
years
knight
ago,
in
but
shining
now is a
armor.
good time because we could run back some tapes where I'm trying to tell y'all it ain't always them rules for everybody. Soon as you, as a woman, you get to make the rules.
Imagine.
I don't know this.
Imagine Alex leaves Cassie for
That's
Diddy.
not like cheating. I mean, I guess, but he knew.
Wait, say it again. Wait, what'd you say?
I wait. He probably was loving it. People have fetishes.
Imagine Diddy wins this case.
He did
And
all of this
Alex
shit to get
leaves
next to-
Cassie for
For
Diddy.
what? For what?
He did all of this
For Diddy.
Alex leaves Cassie for Alex leaves Cassie for Diddy?
Yeah.
What a headline.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Did you see the lineup of men that were in that photo?
Thank you.
That was why would Alex not possibly be on that list?
And who was
And
wearing the
somebody
shoes?
probably gonna say something. They was like, "Oh yeah, we seen Alex at the freak off."
I was not supposed to talk
Pretty
about
soon.
this because I've been listening to Anthony Paul Mitchell. What's his name? Anyways, I was supposed to be minding my business. But did y'all see the shoes and
was
the
at a
baby
freak off?
oil?
Oh.
Who was wearing the shoes that they confiscated from Diddy's home? Remember you seen all of those shoes, those platform shoes and the
I
baby
did see
oil?
that. Oh yeah, they were like the stripper shoes.
Who was putting on the shoes?
I'm assuming Cassie.
And was it always just Cassie at the freak offs? Was there ever any
Really
other
not.
women? Or like, did you have one woman per freak off and maybe multiple men? How did it go? And who was wearing the shoes? Were the men wearing the shoes? How freaky was this getting?
Why do you care?
What? The answers to these questions, what does that do for us?
No, I
You gotta
think
ask the man
Diddy's
himself.
a Scorpio.
Okay.
It's like I'm joking.
I was about to say,
Like-
born again Christian.
That's why I said I'm just joking. You know, I will never go and visit
Right
that
in your book.
world.
One of
Write
the guys
yourself a
who got
little prayer.
arrested a long time ago.
Yes.
And he was strung out on something, and he said that he was at Diddy's, and Cassie had did this a long time ago. He said that. And he was in that picture too.
Wait, he said, what did he say? He was at
saying
Diddy's
that-
house?
He was saying that he just left Cassie and Diddy. It was on the TV.
It was on the
So on that
On the
TV.
television.
I'm telling you.
See, y'all better start believing in stuff because they be saying these things
So
that
he
be
was
happening.
with Diddy and Cassie at
He
that
was-
time?
And this was an interrogation, and it had nothing to do with them.
Nothing.
He just didn't want to go to jail. He was like, "I'll give you whatever you want." I just left Diddy and Cassie. Yes.
so
And
random,
was
but he did bring it
they
up.
do this
Find
stuff
it
to me.
now.
What about
I want to know. I want to know what this
the Whack
is.
100 and the Whack 100 video where he was like decoding Diddy's
Harvey?
talking to his son
Oh.
on the phone, talking about Jay-Z, Allen's man, saying, "Yo, make sure you get the pizza boxes.
Pizza is
Don't
something about
forget."
kids.
He said, "What's Jay doing?" He's like, "Oh, he ain't say nothing yet." He said, "What this nigga think is going on?" Like,
There we go.
Basically, he would masturbate and tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard a lot of business. Because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with speakers and stuff, and I was like a sex slave. Okay, for them that's what I was. That's all. All right. I caught herpes, and I came back and I sued him for the herpes and won. But they did. Mark Garibos and Ben Mercedes were his attorneys, okay? And Christopher Leon's here was my attorney. They asked me to turn in that, which was the video recording, and I did so. They gave it back to me accidentally, and it's possible, I threw everything out, it's possible I can produce a copy.
Gotcha.
It's possible, I'm not sure. Now, how does this lead towards Donald Trump?
Okay.
The Mercedes family.
it was AI.
And he had an accent.
You think it was
That's what Alan would tell me.
Yeah.
It's hard to really differentiate what's AI and what's not because they're making them very good now. That's why I'm just like, you know what, this
That
is
shit
getting a
was
little
way
bit
too grainy.
hard. Right, to be AI, right?
Yeah.
They haven't figured out how to
That
go
was
backwards.
that was a video tape.
They have figured- all right.
They
You'd be
probably
surprised.
Right. See, that's
It's the real video, but the fake audio.
Real video.
The lip smash.
that's